All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of AI.
That was good.
You sent us this really cool YouTube video comparing a bunch of the hottest AI models out there right now.
Yeah.
GPT 4.5, Claude 3.7, Grok DeepSeek.
It's a good lineup.
It is, and they don't just compare the specs or whatever. This
Right.
video throws them into a real world battle royale.
Exactly.
So they're doing social media promos, they're doing email copywriting, they even have them try to solve a logic puzzle.
It's super interesting to see what happens when you push these AIs outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah, like how do they actually perform when you give them a real task?
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess for anyone who needs a quick intro, GPT 4.5, that's the latest from OpenAI, the folks who brought us ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Claude 3.7, that's Anthropic's contender. Grok is a new model from Elon Musk's XAI.
Right.
And then DeepSeek is a little bit more under the radar.
Yeah.
It seems like they focus on more specific tasks.
Yeah, definitely more specialized.
Yeah, so the video starts off with some standard benchmarks, kind of comparing them head to head.
Sure.
And no surprise here, GPT 4.5, it excels in chat and factual accuracy.
Oh, yeah, as expected, right?
Right. It's like the top dog in a lot of ways, but it comes at a cost, literally.
Yeah, literally.
GPT 4.5 is expensive, and as the video points out, it struggles a bit with logic and reasoning.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's where things start to get really interesting, because Claude 3.7, which is cheaper, puts up a solid fight across the board.
Yeah.
So it seems like, price doesn't always equal performance in the AI world.
Right. It's a rapidly changing landscape.
Yeah.
And some of these underdogs are really starting to make some noise.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so moving on to the first challenge. This is where they have the AIs create social media promos from a video transcript.
Okay.
And get this, Claude 3.7 steals the show.
Really?
Yeah, with incredibly natural human-like copy.
Wow, impressive.
I know, right? It was really good.
Yeah.
And what's interesting here is not just the win, but how Claude achieved it.
Right.
It used emojis sparingly, unlike GPT 4.5, which went a little overboard with the emojis.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it made GPT 4.5's copy feel less authentic.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so this might indicate that Claude is trained on a data set with a stronger emphasis on natural language.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, including more social media content in its training data.
It definitely felt more conversational and less robotic,
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Grok came in second, a decent attempt.
Okay.
But DeepSeek really struggled with basic formatting, and it seemed to miss some key points from the video.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and this could point to a limited training data set for DeepSeek, or maybe a focus on other tasks beyond general comprehension.
That's a good point.
It reminds us that even in the world of AI, there are specialists and generalists,
Right.
each with their strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next up, things get a little bit more formal. We move on to email copywriting.
Okay.
So the AIs had to create compelling emails based on the video, and Grok takes the crown this time. Wow, interesting.
I know, right? Grok had clear formatting, a strong hook, and it even managed to weave in details from the transcript.
Very nice.
Color me impressed.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
I was,
Just a good understanding of the task.
yeah, and it's a great example of how AI can be used for content creation.
Definitely.
Grok demonstrated an ability to extract key information and structure it in a persuasive way.
It's a huge time saver for anyone doing marketing or communication.
Oh, absolutely agree, 100%. DeepSeek actually did okay here too,
Okay.
but Claude's attempt, well, let's just say it was more stand-up comedy than marketing email.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was entertaining, but ultimately nonsensical.
Interesting. So it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
It did.
Yeah.
And this raises an important question, though, right? How do we balance AI's creative potential with the need for accuracy and relevance?
It's a tough one.
It is.
That's an ongoing challenge for developers, for sure.
Yeah, and sadly, GPT 4.5's email was just kind of forgettable. Oh, no.
Yeah, it felt generic. It didn't capture the essence of the video at all. And you'd think for the price tag, it would be a little more inspired.
Right, you would think so, yeah.
A little bit more creative.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even the most advanced AI isn't a magic bullet,
All right. Totally.
Sometimes it's not about raw power, but about understanding the nuances of a specific task.
Sure, for sure.
Which brings us to the logic puzzle.
Oh, yeah. This one was fun.
Yeah.
So imagine trying to pick an apple from a tree across a river in the middle of winter.
Okay.
Talk about a head scratcher.
Yeah, that's tricky.
It is, right?
So this challenge was really testing their reasoning and problem-solving skills.
Yeah. Could they identify the impossible situation and then offer creative solutions?
Exactly.
And the winners are GPT 4.5 and Grok.
Okay.
Yeah, they both acknowledged the issue, no apples in winter, and suggested ways to still get an apple, like finding a store or waiting until spring.
Makes sense.
DeepSeek, bless its heart, missed the seasonal cue entirely and suggested building a raft.
Ugh, DeepSeek.
Yeah, poor DeepSeek, it seems its strength lies elsewhere.
It seems so.
And Claude just went silent, no response at all.
Huh, interesting.
Maybe it was too busy writing haikus about winter apples.
Maybe so.
Okay, so we've seen these AIs handle writing, but what about coding? The final challenge was to create a functional AI audit tool in HTML.
Okay.
This really separated the coders from the poets, so to speak.
Right, right. Yeah, that's a whole different skill set.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. This was a real test to see if they could translate those instructions into code that actually works, and the outcome was pretty surprising. DeepSeek, you know, usually overshadowed in the other challenges, it takes the win.
I know, right? It actually built a working audit tool.
Yeah.
It might not have been the prettiest, but it got the job done.
That's right. And, this is another great example of how specializing can be a real strength in AI DeepSeek. Maybe not the best at writing catchy slogans or figuring out those logic puzzles, but when it comes to coding, clearly shines.
Yeah, it really does.
It might be because DeepSeek uses a different training method. Maybe they're focusing more on code generation tasks compared to those other models.
Yeah, it's like that quiet kid in class who suddenly blows everyone away with their coding skills.
Right, exactly.
Claude came in second this time, but its tool was more style over substance.
Oh, so it looked good, but didn't actually work.
Yeah, visually appealing, but not functional.
So it seems like Claude maybe prioritized aesthetics over functionality there.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that even with AI, you have to really look at the outputs and make sure they're actually doing what you need them to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just about looking good. It's got to work.
Right.
And unfortunately, both GPT 4.5 and Grok, they struck out on this one, couldn't generate any working code.
So I guess everyone has their limits.
It seems like it, yeah.
It really reinforces that idea that no single AI can do it all.
Right.
Understanding what each model is good at
Mm,
is so important when you're trying to decide which one to use.
for sure, for sure. Okay, drum roll, please. Time for the final verdict. The video ranks the AIs based on their overall performance across all the challenges, and the winner is Claude 3.7.
It seems like Claude being so well-rounded and doing so well in the writing challenges really pushed it to the top. It may not be the best at every single thing, but it's consistent, kind of like a reliable Swiss Army knife of AI.
I love that analogy. Very eloquent.
Thank you.
DeepSeek snagged a surprising second place, proving that specialization can be a winning strategy. Its coding skills really shook things up.
Absolutely. DeepSeek's success, it wasn't expected, and it shows how dynamic this field is. New models and approaches, they're popping up all the time, challenging the big names and really pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
It is a fast-moving field for sure. GPT 4.5, despite that high price tag, it only managed third place, kind of a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none situation, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like that high cost doesn't always mean better performance, and it makes you wonder about the future of AI pricing. Will people be willing to pay more for a generalist, or will they start looking for these cheaper, more specialized options?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Especially as these specialized models get better and better.
And last but not least, Grok, fun-free and surprisingly good at times, but ultimately inconsistent.
Yeah, Grok's inconsistency, that could be, because it's still pretty new as it gets more training data and the developers keep working on it. It could become a much more reliable option for people who want a free and versatile AI tool.
Yeah, you never know what the future holds, right?
Yeah.
So the YouTuber's conclusion, GPT 4.5 might be overpriced and overrated. Claude is a writing powerhouse. DeepSeek's coding is seriously impressive.
Yeah.
And Grok is kind of a wild card, entertaining but unpredictable.
That's a good summary. These rankings are helpful, but they're just a snapshot in time. This AI landscape, it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So the best AI for you, it really depends on what you need it to do and how these models continue to evolve.
So true. So what did you think of all this? Did any of the results surprise you? I have to admit, I was pretty blown away by DeepSeek's coding abilities.
Yeah, me too. It really flips the script on that idea that bigger, more expensive models are always better.
Definitely.
It's like focusing on that niche really paid off for DeepSeek.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all in AI anymore. You really have to understand what you need the AI to do, and then pick the tool that fits those goals. Do you want something that can kind of do a little bit of everything, or do you need a specialist in a specific area?
That's such a good point. And this video really did a great job of showing us those strengths and weaknesses.
Right, it really did.
Like you said earlier, the AI landscape is changing so fast, and these kinds of like real world tests are so valuable.
For sure. It helps to cut through all the hype in marketing,
Yeah.
and see how these models actually perform when you give them real tasks.
Exactly. And for anyone listening, it's a good reminder to just get out there and experiment. Don't be afraid to try different AI tools, even the ones you haven't heard of as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. You might be surprised what you find.
You really might. And if anyone wants to dive deeper into this whole world of AI, the YouTube video description has a bunch of great resources, links to communities, tutorials, even stories about people who've built entire businesses around AI.
It's a really exciting time to be following this technology. Who knows what amazing things are? Just around the corner, what we thought was impossible just a few years ago is becoming reality, and it feels like things are only speeding up.
That's so true. So
Yeah.
if you're curious about AI, don't just sit there watching from the sidelines, jump in, explore, and see what you can create. You might discover the perfect tool to help you achieve your goals, whatever those goals may be.